I bought an old RV after I retired. Not to roam across America or become some old man living in a van, but simply to sit quietly in my backyard, read books, and write poetry. It's my peaceful haven, equipped with a mini coffee maker, a cooling fan, and sometimes I light a warm yellow lamp, play some soft jazz. Sounds romantic, doesn't it? Not to Karen. Karen, the HOA president, self-declared queen of suburban order, looked at my RV like I had just parked a North Korean spaceship on my lawn. One fine morning, I received a letter from the HOA, personally signed by Karen herself. Mobile dwellings may not remain parked for more than 48 hours. Violations will result in confiscation. Confiscation? Of my RV? I put down my coffee, looked at the RV, then at the letter, and laughed. Because if Karen wanted to play by the rules, I'd show her I read every line, even the fine print. I live in a pretty peaceful neighborhood in Arizona, where even the dogs say hello to each other, the cacti have names, and the residents, well, nobody really bothers anyone else. That is, until Karen showed up. She moved in from rumor, has an estate with more regulations than any other in the U.S., and just 1 month later, she climbed her way up to become HOA president, thanks to an election where only 7 people voted, 3 of whom were her relatives. Karen ruled like she had just been elected president of the United Nations of HOA. She issued what I call the Karen Code. The American flag may not tilt more than 30 degrees. Trash bins must match the color of your garage door. And most importantly, all mobile vehicles, including RVs, campers, and anything with wheels that doesn't move daily, are a threat to the aesthetic integrity of the neighborhood. I heard that and just sighed. Because my RV? It's neatly parked beside my house, covered with a tarp. The tires are in better shape than her sedan. And if it's a threat to anything, it's probably to Karen's sanity from staring at it too much. Still, she sent me a warning letter, complete with surveillance photos from her home security camera, zoomed in so close you could count the screws on my RV. When a woman is willing to stake out your RV with a high-resolution lens, you know it's time to make your move. Monday, 9 a.m. I was making coffee in my RV, probably the most peaceful moment of the week, when thud, an envelope slid through the door. Stamped boldly on the front was the HOA logo and a headline that looked like a speeding ticket. Final notice: illegal dwelling vehicle. Inside, Karen spelled it out clearly. I had 72 hours to remove the RV from the neighborhood. If not, the HOA would contact a towing company and charge the fee to my resident account. After that, I could even be sued for negatively impacting nearby property values. She even cited a rule from the HOA charter, dated 1998. You know, back when people still used fax machines and logged into the internet with AOL. I nearly choked on my coffee when I read the line. An RV is a form of impermanent, long-term habitation. Impermanent? I've got a Dyson air purifier in there, real hardwood floors, and a full-body massage chair. It's nicer than her living room. But the final blow? Failure to comply will result in confiscation of the violating property. Confiscation of my RV. That was the moment I realized Karen wasn't messing around. But neither was I. I'm not the kind of guy you push around. I didn't just read the HOA bylaws. I printed the 2020 revisions and taped them to my wall like a mini Declaration of Independence. And I swear, if Karen wanted to play the law game, I'd make her retake Private Property Rights 101. You know, I used to be a systems engineer for an insurance company, which means I'm well acquainted with reading things worse than low-grade sci-fi, legal documents. So when Karen threatened to tow my RV like it was some stolen getaway car, I brewed a pot of tea, yes, tea, fired up my laptop, and dove deep into the latest HOA charter update from 2020. Page 14, Section 7.2, Line 3. Mobile residential vehicles may be parked on private property, provided they do not obstruct pathways and do not significantly impact neighborhood aesthetics. I looked at my RV, spotless, shaded, framed with a blooming bougainvillea trellis. Honestly, it looked better than Karen's scratched-up silver SUV, which has had dents since the Obama era. I printed out the entire charter, highlighted it like I was preparing for a master's thesis. Then I drafted a response letter. According to the current bylaws, my RV is fully compliant. Should the HOA proceed with unfounded enforcement actions, I will escalate the matter to the County Residential Committee and consider filing for property rights intimidation. I mailed it via certified post. Signature required, no games here. But I wasn't done. I scanned the HOA charter and posted it on the neighborhood Facebook group with the caption, "Someone should really read the rules before threatening others." The response? 42 likes, 17 supportive comments. One reply from Karen, "This information has not been verified." To which I responded, "Your signature is on the last page. Verified enough?" Karen went silent. For the first time in her reign as the self-crowned queen of HOA, she had nothing to say. After the whole Karen got highlighted incident, I thought she'd retreat into the shadows, tend to her cacti, and meditate on the impermanence of suburban power. But no, Karen doesn't retreat, she reloads. A week later, I received an invitation to an emergency Silver Palms residence meeting. Topic: Revisiting regulations on personal residential vehicles. Translated into human language, Karen wanted to rewrite the rules just to ban my RV. Perfect. She wanted to go big? I was ready to bring fireworks. That evening, the community hall was more packed than I'd ever seen. Plastic chairs spilled into the aisles. Someone brought popcorn. I took my seat front row, right next to Bill, my neighbor and a retired land use attorney, with hair as white as Justice Ginsburg's ghost. Karen took the mic like she was about to give a TED Talk. "We need to seriously address the presence of inappropriate vehicles in our neighborhood." A woman interrupted, "You mean the RV with the purple flowers that looks nicer than my house?" The whole room laughed. Then Bill stood up. "According to the current bylaws which you signed, residents are allowed to park RVs as long as they don't block pathways or disrupt aesthetics. So Karen, are you trying to change the rules just because you personally don't like a legal vehicle?" Karen stammered. From the back of the room, a young guy shouted, "Vote of confidence. Who wants to keep the current rules?" Hands shot up like a wave. I counted roughly over 80% of the residents were against Karen. At that point, I didn't have to say a word, because in a war, the most satisfying moment isn't when you strike the final blow. It's when your enemy digs their own hole and jumps right in. After the chaotic town hall meeting, the HOA held a vote of no confidence in the president, for the first time in 10 years. The result? Karen was removed with 74% approval. She stepped down with a face like she'd just bitten into an unwashed lemon. No more microphone. No more bolded threat letters. No more Karen standing in the middle of the street, measuring everyone's grass height. A week later, I saw a big for sale sign on her front lawn. Rumor has it she's planning to move to a neighborhood with no HOA. And I swear if she finds such a place, I'll send her flowers. As for me, I bought some solar-powered lights and lined them around the RV. Hung a small American flag on the roof because why not? I had just won, in true constitutional spirit. Each morning, I brew my coffee, turn on some jazz, and sit inside my so-called illegal dwelling vehicle, smiling, because I didn't just keep my RV, I kept my right to live in peace, without Karen's control. And next time someone threatens to confiscate your property, just because they don't like it, remember this: the law is the law. Karen is just Karen. And you? You have the right to park in your own damn driveway. If you've ever been harassed by an HOA over ridiculous things, like the wrong parking angle, the wrong flowers, or flying a flag the wrong direction, you know exactly how I felt. And if you've ever defeated a Karen, whether by law, by logic, or just with a cold stare, drop a comment below RV1, Karen 0. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because you won't want to miss the next chapter in the battle for backyard justice, where chickens, flags, and RVs all have the right to live free. Remember, HOAs aren't courts. And Karen? She ain't the law.